Well, folks, these sunglasses could mean one thing and one thing only. That is right. The Brooms have already made their debut this season as we have introduced
Mm.
ourselves to the
Mhm.
NFL season with a 4-0 sweep.
Talk to him.
I am Bryce Hunt, joined by Josh Frey-Sam, lead NFL analyst at Janitor's Closet. Josh, how are you feeling after a 4-0 start to the season?
Bryce, man, we couldn't, we literally could not feel better. Last week, as I'm watching these plays roll in, I mean, the only play that kind of made us sweat just a little bit was Philadelphia -4. But besides that, that one came down to it, and we were good. But besides that, we didn't really break much of a sweat last weekend, you know. So I don't necessarily expect that to continue as we throughout the entire season. But shoot, I could get used to that feeling real quick, and I'm looking forward to a good week two once again with we got locked and loaded some more good plays here.
Absolutely. And if you have been following this channel since its debut on the World Wide Web here, you'd remember that the immediately following our last sunglasses video where we swept the slate, we had a pretty tough one. But I believe in the wise words of George W. Bush: "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." And we will not get fooled again as
No,
we have
sir.
five more plays coming at you for week two of the NFL season, some reoccurring teams, some reoccurring themes. But we're going to get started with our first play here. Thursday night football. Getting a little touch on a Thursday night, Josh. Why don't you tell us a little about the Minnesota Vikings visiting Philly?
Philly, yes, yes. The Philadelphia Eagles, like I just finished talking about them, they came off a tough battle there against New England there in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And this one, I really like Philly in this spot. Listen, usually with Thursday night games, they're a little bit touchy, Bryce, because you don't really know what to expect. A lot of these teams coming off of the off of into a short week a lot of the time, and then you don't know with injuries and just how certain guys are going to react to the short week, all that. I don't mind taking this shot here in week two because these guys are still a lot of them so fresh. We're gonna go Philadelphia Eagles first half -3.5 here, and we're gonna jump on that. Some of you might get it at -4, some of you guys might get it at -3.5. It's all fine. It's all dandy. I think Philadelphia is going to control this one once again. Minnesota did not look great against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the lowly Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. Philadelphia Eagles also offensively specifically didn't look that great, didn't look all that dynamic against the New England Patriots, who Bill Belichick, you obviously know he's going to do it his thing on the defensive side of the ball. They're always going to come ready, locked, and loaded. But I think Philadelphia is due for a bounce back here. Philadelphia is the better team, no doubt about it. Offensively, defensively, I think that Minnesota they're going to find a way to lock up Justin Jefferson there, and then as simple as that, I think the rest of the way Minnesota's offense is going to continue getting off to a little bit of a slower start. Philadelphia's, meanwhile, I think is going to get out of the gates hot against a weaker Minnesota Vikings defense. So Philadelphia first half -3.5 is going to be the play on Thursday Night Football here.
You mentioned the line just to intercept your comments there. -3.5. We are recording this September 13th, Wednesday. Okay, so a couple days before Sunday, before we get into those picks, and these lines are coming from Bet365, as we mentioned before. You know the deal by now. On to our next play. We're gonna go Seattle visiting the Detroit Lions after a big win against Kansas City, getting their home opener, taking on the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, this one last year, Bryce, this was an easy. I don't remember exactly what the line was set at, the over/under was set at last year and what the spread was set at, but this one I remember looking at this game last year and I absolutely hammered the over with confidence and it hit easily. This was a high scoring track meet shootout last year. And listen, Detroit is coming off I think a 21-point outing against Kansas City. Seattle's coming off of a 13-point effort against the Los Angeles Rams in a losing effort, where Tyler Lockett also got a little bit banged up. But I'll tell you what, I'm expecting nothing less than what we saw last year. I'm taking over 47 here for the Seattle and Detroit Lions here. I think that this one is going to easily hit the over. I think this is going to be another one of those. Maybe you see if somebody breaks the 30-point threshold to 25 points potentially. And I think this one is going to be, although both of these defenses are improved from a year ago, I think that Seattle's offense is in a prime bounce back spot here. And I think that Detroit's offense, another week under their belt, especially with Jahmyr Gibbs, they have yet to unleash Jahmyr Gibbs. Fantasy owners know that too well. I think that Detroit's going to be even better this week as well. And then I will also just jump to our next play here since we are staying here in Michigan for our next play. Seattle at Detroit. We're also going to take Seahawks +6 here. Again, I just think that Seattle is in a prime bounce back spot here. I'm not saying I see Seattle winning outright. I could see them winning outright, but I think that as far as with Detroit goes, I think this is an evenly matched game. I think 6 points is a bit too much in this spot, and we'll see how things shake out. But I expect it to be a high scoring, closely contested, hotly contested affair there in Michigan here.
There we go. Two plays in Detroit with the Seattle Seahawks coming to town. Our next play comes from two teams who suffered heartbreaking losses of 2 points or less. We have the LA Chargers visiting the Tennessee Titans. Two different styles of football that were played last
Mm.
week between these two teams. What do we got for them this week?
Yeah, two different styles of football, but both of these ones attack the weakness of these defenses, and that's why we're taking the over 45 in this game, Bryce. Tennessee obviously has the punishing run attack led by Derrick Henry, and Los Angeles Chargers have, well, seemingly forever failed to stop the run. On the flip side, Los Angeles Chargers, we know that they like to put the ball in Jay Herbo's hands, let Herbert eat, and just sling that rock all over the yard. Tennessee's defense struggles as far they are very strong in the front seven there, so you might see a tough day for the likes of Austin Eckler or Josh Kelly out as far as rushing the ball. But I think that means that Justin Herbert's going to get his fair share of throwing. Passing attempts, and I think that they're going to be able to run up this score here against a weaker Tennessee Titans defense. I see this one. I think LA wins this game pretty handedly, especially from what we saw the Tennessee Titans do last week, only putting up 50 points against the New Orleans Saints. But New Orleans Saints got a pretty good defense. And although Ryan Tannehill, I don't think Ryan Tannehill could possibly get much worse than he was last year. Or last week, I should say. So I expect Ryan Tannehill to have a little bit of a bounce back here and help Derrick Henry out on the ground. And on the flip side, Los Angeles Chargers, this offense already looked pretty good last week. And I think they're going to continue that against a weaker Tennessee Titans defense. So with that being said, over 45 is the easy play here.
Definitely. Now, before we get into this last play, the one thing I will say, as we have a constant theme, to any Carolina Panthers fans that may be following the program, it's not personal. It
It's
really
not.
is not
No,
personal.
sir.
We got to take care of business, and hopefully, if you're watching, your young quarterback getting his feet wet, hopefully you can at least make a little bit of money on the side while you're doing so.
Yes,
Our
sir.
next play is New Orleans at those Carolina Panthers. Josh, I might have given it away a little bit, but talk about the play we have here.
Yeah, we got New Orleans -3 here, Bryce, and I think that this line is a little bit too close for my liking. Although New Orleans is traveling to Carolina, which obviously bodes well for the Carolina Panthers. This is on Monday Night Football. This is in prime time. I gave a fancy little stat last time about how first overall picks since 2003 were absolutely terrible in their debut in week one. I don't really have the stats here for this one, but if I had to guess, I would probably say that first overall picks or young teams like the Carolina Panthers probably don't fare so well in their first primetime game either. So this one's coming in Monday Night Football and as a part of a doubleheader on Monday Night Football with the Cleveland and the Pittsburgh Steelers game. We're taking the New Orleans Saints here because I think that the Derek Carr-led offense is going to another week under their feet here. They're going to hit their groove a little bit more here. They're still without Alvin Kamara, who's serving that 6-game suspension, but that's all right. They got Jamal Williams there toting the rock against the Carolina Panthers defense, who also, by the way, Carolina Panthers going to be without J.C. Horn, which has become an all too common theme. Unfortunately, J.C. Horn's a very talented player, but that defense obviously just took another hit. I was looking at the under here for this game originally, but J.C. Horn out, I was a little bit hesitant to do that. So we're just going to ride here with the New Orleans -3 here, and kind of similar. I'll give one last thing here, and similar to last week with Atlanta Falcons, their defense being much improved, and that proved to be the case against Carolina Panthers and starting Bryce Young and making his debut. New Orleans Saints defense is even better again than the Atlanta Falcons. So I expect Carolina to really struggle to put up points in this game. And New Orleans, meanwhile, I think that they can do just enough to cover this -3. I don't really see them struggling here again, especially without J.C. Horn playing. I think guys like Chris Olave is going to eat in this game. So New Orleans -3 on the road to cap off the week.
Well, how do you come back from going 4-0? You drop 5 plays. You keep setting the bar a little bit higher. That's what we say. Good teams win games. Great teams cover the spread. That's
Yes,
what we're
sir.
going to need a couple teams to do for us as we have 5 plays for week 2 of the NFL action. Just to review, the Philadelphia Eagles, first half -3.5. The Seattle and Detroit game, we have over 47 and Seattle +6. We have the LA Chargers and Tennessee Titans to go over 45 and the New Orleans Saints to cover -3 visiting the Carolina Panthers. Folks, that is going to do it for us this week in our week 2 show. If you're winning money, if boys are helping you out a little bit, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, let us know where you're coming from. And we look forward to dropping these videos every week for you.
And also, Bryce, let me plug the Twitter account real quick at TJC Bets on
For sure.
X or Twitter, whatever you. Especially this week, we've been giving away plays in MLB this season on Twitter, but at the same time, keep an eye out for Monday Night Football. We're still kind of figuring out some Monday Night Football action here specifically between the Cleveland and Pittsburgh game. We're running some numbers and figuring some stuff out. So there definitely could be one, potentially even 2 plays that we give away on X there coming up. So be sure to give us a follow at TJC Bets.
Definitely. Quickest way to reach us, be a friend, tell a friend, join the program, and let's take this thing to the moon. Hey, Josh, what do you say?
Yes, sir. Let's have one.
All right, let's do it, folks. Week 2, setting the bar even higher. Let's go have one. Happy gambling, folks. Hopefully, these sunglasses can stay cemented on these big noses here, folks. Let's have one.